Am I live? Am I live? I think I'm live. I think I'm live. It says I have a couple of viewers, so hey, welcome to the show, guys. Tonight I'm going to do something a little bit different because I'm a little too serious most of the time. So tonight I'm going to get into character. A character that I kind of just magically made up with my wife because I'm too serious sometimes, you know? And if you're like me and you watch the news and it bores the shit out of you because it's just the regular propaganda nonsense you hear all the fucking time, gets pretty old pretty fast. So tonight I'm going to talk about the news and the polls and all that bullshit as SLEVNAV, the ex-communist from Soviet Russia where I grew up, right? Okay, so tonight I'm going to show you some good shit. Some good shit that's exciting because, quite frankly, I think Donald Trump still has very, very, very good chance. I say like 90% chance of winning the election this year. So let's look at the polls, okay? Let's look at these polls because I think it's actually really nice, you know what I mean? So let's get into it. So the polls are always like, kind of like shit because they're wrong most of the time, but you know, they have their own purpose. Let's see here. 1 minutочку. Yes. Okay. And I don't want to leave you alone, so I'm going to keep myself in the corner for you so you can see my beautiful, beautiful Russian face, yes? Not actually Russian. Anyway, okay, so Sleepy Joe. We got to talk about Sleepy Joe because the polling numbers here show that Joe, surprisingly, has this huge, crazy lead still, even though he's... The only good news you get out of Sleepy Joe is no news, because every time he's on TV, it's like you're just cringing. You're like, oh shit, he's going to make a mistake. And it's like he's so bad at giving public appearances, it's almost like you're starting to root for him because he's kind of like an underdog. It's like he's always wanted to be the big shot, but he's so bad at it, it's like cringy, you know what I mean? So somehow he's... Somehow he's in the lead right now, and I just can't believe it, quite frankly, because it's like he's pretty fucking corrupt. He's in bed with the most corrupt people out there, and fucking ex-President Obama won't even endorse him because he fucking knows that he's also fucking corrupt. He's using his prestige he used his prestige as the VP to help out his family, do some corrupt bullshit, you know? Look at these polls updating real time. That's pretty cool, eh? Okay, so down here we got the national average and we got state by state by state. We even have fucking betting odds if you want to do some betting on this shit. And I've got 2 open bets. A while ago, I was so bullish on President Trump winning this election that I was like, somebody bet me $100 because I'm willing to go all the way up to $1,000. I will still do that now if you think Trump will lose. The left is so adamant. They're basically like, oh, you know, we need to unite to beat the devil. There's all these authors making these books that are like running against the devil. It's a new book that just came out, and it's all a bunch of bullshit propaganda by neocons who are communists in sheep's clothing. You know, basically just Fabian socialists, you know what I mean? Okay, so Sleepy Joe can't win, though. Let's be honest. In a debate, he's gonna freeze up. He's gonna get nervous. He doesn't know how to say. He can't prepare fighting against Trump because Trump is gonna call him Sleepy Joe and be like, "Hey, don't sleep up here. You know, you're not homeless. You got to pay your bills. By the way, cheers. Moscow Mule, my favorite drink. Okay, so if it really comes down to Biden and Trump, Biden is going to lose because, quite frankly, every swing voter is going to see that Biden cannot compete with Trump. Not to mention, Trump's one-term track record is better than basically any president since, I don't know, the beginning of the country. Like, not even Abraham Washington, I'm sorry, Abraham Lincoln or George Washington had campaign promises that they were able to fulfill the way that Donald Trump has, okay? It's just, I mean, not to mention, Abraham Lincoln, he was hated by both parties too, okay? He was the most hated president we had besides Trump, but he got assassinated. He's dead. He died. So, you know, basically Trump's got him beat, you know. Any other good presidents you can think of, you know, JFK, he died, you know. He's dead. So he's not better. He died while he's president. So somehow Trump has surrounded himself quite geniusly to be like assassination resilient. You know, I'm not saying it's not possible. It's definitely possible. But recently he's been giving some amazing speeches around the country during his like rallies that are just mind-blowing. He's dropping truth bombs like never before, and he's speaking out against the deep state and the powers that be like you'd never expect a billionaire to do. Because, you know, some of these people used to be his friends. I have no doubt in my mind that some of these people he has rubbed shoulders with many times in order to help his own organization succeed. So, quite frankly, it's like Trump has, in fact, backstabbed. He has committed treason against some of his old friends. This is, quite frankly, what has happened. But it is happening because he does. He's telling the fucking truth. He loves this country, and he doesn't want it to become another communist shithole, like all these shitholes that are sending all of their people here. And, you know, quite frankly, fuck them, you know. And I'm all for it. So, we've talked enough about Sleepy Joe. Quite frankly, he cannot win when it comes to every single debate. I think Sleepy Joe is going to lose so badly it will be sad, because Trump is going to do things to throw him off of his like rote speech preparation, because you know he's going to have all these like speech preparers helping him out, and he's going to be all like, oh, I've got this, and then, you know, Trump's gonna throw all these curveballs at him and be like, you're a fucking prick, you know, your son is a fucking junkie, he doesn't know anything about oil, and all that bullshit, even the impeachment, it's all bullshit, and it's all because of fucking you, so you're a piece of shit garbage, okay? Alright, so Sleepy Joe cannot win in my book, and yet he's beating out all the competition so much, it's really hilarious. So at some point the Dems have to be like, oh fuck, you know, we don't have any good horses right now, and Biden's doing the best, so we're probably going to run him anyway, but you know, he's got some fucking skeletons in his closet we should be looking at. So, you know, who's next best? It's either Sanders or Warren, right? The problem with Pocahontas is, you know, every minority and every white person, deep down, I think we all hate Elizabeth Warren, right? Like the fact that we all know that all she has been able to accomplish is probably in a great deal because she literally said she was a fucking Native American, and because of laws in this country, we help those people out, go into universities. We have something called affirmative action. It's very racist, and it basically says, oh, you know, if you didn't have top scores, it's okay, we'll let you in because we have to, because we're a bunch of socialists, and, you know, racist bullshit, and, you know, we want to help the little guy, and I get that to some extent, but I personally think it should not be on such a wide scale. Personally, that's just me, but, you know, whatever. We don't have to get into that in this video. But Elizabeth Warren, I'll talk about her a second, okay? Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas. That's her name. And, you know, I personally think it is appropriate for Donald Trump to call her Pocahontas in front of the entire fucking country. Because I think it's fair. Because she used the borrowed ladder to borrow a phrase from Gattaca, the science fiction film. You know, she used that ability to go to a top university, which led her to another top university, which led her to all these amazing jobs. And now she's, you know, she's done a good job in her office. But to be quite frank, at some point along the way, she met some communists and lost her fucking mind, okay? Because not too long ago, she actually wrote a pretty good book. Trying to remember the fucking name, but I can't. So, you know, my apologies. Сука, блядь. Well, anyway, her book was about the fact that the most important thing that got almost no attention in the last, like, 50 years was the fact that we went from basically having a one breadwinner household in America to having two. And that is required by the vast majority, like 90+% of households that have families, children, both parents work. So there are millions of latchkey kids in America, and that creates a pretty shitty place to live. You know, the saying that the kids are not okay. So it's become a shitty place for many policy reasons, but the fact that World War II led to a lot of women joining the workforce, and, you know, there were some men that part of the silent generation that were like, you know, fuck that, my wife is not going to work, and if we could have kept going with that, we would have had better nuclear families in America. So anyways, her book was pretty good because she brought attention to that, which needs attention, because life was better for everybody in a world where there was basically one head of household that worked and a stay-at-home parent. And obviously back then there was like a big stigma on a male if a male was not the breadwinner. So, you know, it's basically, you know, the patriarchy back then, yeah, which is good. We need to bring that back. So she used to have a brain, but it went somewhere else. I don't know. So the next person we obviously need to talk about is communist commie General Sanders. General Sanders, Bernie Sanders, whatever you want to call him. He's old. He's a New Yorker, which a lot of people can actually get into. Trust me, a lot of people can really get into Sanders. He has more grassroots, you know, volunteers working for him than probably any other Democratic candidate. And you can trust me on that. That much I think is very true, because he has, guess what, a whole bunch of fucking communists working for him. Thanks to Project Veritas, we now know that there are some fucking communists working for Bernie Sanders that want to fucking kill people, line them up in the street and shoot them, like the Soviet, you know, Bolsheviks did. The Bolsheviks, we don't have to get into fucking history. I'm trying to keep this light, you know what I mean? So, but Bernie Sanders is a fucking communist, okay? So if you put him in a match up against Donald Trump, the fucking man, it's going to be very easy to defeat Sanders, because it's going to be like, hey, guess what? You're a fucking communist. And Bernie's going to be like, whoa, that's not true at all. I'm just a socialist. That's not the same as communism. But guess what? That's bullshit, Sanders. You fucking commie. We all know where you went on your honeymoon, okay? So if you want to know how communist Bernie Sanders was, look up or Google where he went on his honeymoon. I will save you a minute and cheat and just say he went to the fucking Soviet Union, okay? And that's because he was already part of a subversive communist cell, and let's just say he was meeting his handlers or some bullshit like that. But yeah, Bernie Sanders is a fucking communist, and anyone that votes for him is a fucking stupid fuck. Even though in 2016, I would have rather had Bernie v. Trump happen than Hillary, because Hillary was a fucking criminal bitch, and we all know that story, so we don't have to get into that either. Okay. There's some more people on this list that we need to talk about, like Tom Steyer. Who is Tom Steyer? Apparently he's a wealthy guy, and he was quite charming when he interrupted Elizabeth Warren trying to pick a fight with Bernie Sanders on stage, being like, did you call me a fucking liar? And he's all like, hey, I'm a nice millionaire guy, okay? Hey, you guys need to calm down. By the way, I have to say, Tom Steyer, his face, his behavior and all that shit, I like it a whole lot more than any of the other candidates. So if I was a Democrat this year, I would probably be voting for Tom Steyer because he's a little bit more centrist. He's not your crazy, radical, extremist, leftist, whatever you want to call them. These two crazy extremists. By the way, Elizabeth Warren is also kind of a communist. She's kind of a stupid bitch. She wants all these crazy socialist ideas. Basically, her and Comey Sanders are on the same page. So they want a lot of the same things, and they're trying to butt heads now because one of them has to beat the other one way or another. So they're trying to make a fight, and people don't like it. But it has to be one of them because, quite frankly, Sleepy Joe can't win. Tom Steyer, Tom Steyer actually has a chance. He's a likable face. You know what I mean? So, not a lot of people know about him, but he's actually a wealthy man, and he's spending a lot on ads. Unfortunately, it's not doing a lot for him because Tom Steyer only has like 2.4%. Let's take a look at Iowa. Steyer is not even fucking on here. He's not even on fucking like any of these except South Carolina. He's in the single digits. I mean, it's a lost cause. So that brings me to my favorite candidate out of all of these candidates, which is actually some Asian guy named Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang is all about universal basic income, which is kind of a communist idea in my opinion, or at least very socialist. And it's, unfortunately, sooner or later, I have to be honest with you guys, I'm a staunch, hardcore anti-communist. But universal basic income might need to be a thing in like 20 years. He's ahead of his time. He's a futurist. He can't win, but he's onto something because sooner or later, when AI technology starts actually, coming full swing and replacing millions and tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of jobs, that is when America will realize, hey, guess what? All this bullshit they've been telling us on TV for a long time, for like decades, where it's like, hey, don't worry about AI because when the AI replaces your job, you can quit your job. It's okay. You don't have to work. You stay home and you make YouTube videos and you try to monetize how you knit socks for your babies, or you knit little hats for your doggy, okay? Or you maybe you breed puppies or kitties and you make YouTube videos and shit like that, and you make your hobby your job, okay? Yeah, good luck with that, because guess what? You might not think it, but there's already thousands and thousands of people already doing that shit. And people usually just want one or two of the best people at a certain hobby to tell them how to do it, okay? So all that bullshit about, you can have a hobby job eventually when AI comes and replaces your job, it's all bullshit. And we know from statistics that when you're past age 30 or 40 maybe, this thing that they call job or career or profession retraining, it's fucking bull. It's just stupid nonsense. It's all lies. It's not real. It doesn't work. That's what I'm really trying to say, is none of that works. So we know, and Andrew Yang speaks out about this, that job retraining it doesn't work. I've listened to Andrew Yang. He's intelligent. He's a businessman. He's made more jobs than any of these other candidates combined, because most of these candidates, other than Bloomberg and Steyer, actually those two, yeah, take them out. Andrew Yang has made a lot of jobs, though. That was his job, basically. So I respect the guy. He cannot win. He's Asian. He can't win. But quite frankly, he should run again in like 2030 when he's a little older and wiser. Because I like the guy, and he's really pretty conservative in many ways. He does not like to talk about the socialist ideas, and I can tell. He's not on board with many of the socialist ideas, but he is still social justicey and all that bullshit because he's the only guy of color up there, right? All the other people of color, like Castro and Harris, they're already out of the race. They couldn't win, couldn't keep their campaign running. So, fuck them. In a good way, I mean that in a way like, hey, yeah, you're probably a socialist piece of shit human. Go fuck you. You know what I mean? Okay. So, who else we got here? Oh, yeah, Pete Buttigieg. He's on here, right? Yeah, Buttigieg coming in pretty high, right? I mean, at the highest, he actually broke double-digit numbers in December. But you know what? Buttigieg has a stupid name. Nobody likes him. And he's not rich, made of money like Steyer or Bloomberg. And he's not getting the same donations as like Sanders. Sanders has literally gotten the most donations of any candidate ever. So basically, if I'm going to draw conclusions right now, which I'm not going to just yet, I'm going to hold off giving you my conclusions here. But I have a good idea of who will be facing off with Trump. And I still believe Trump will win. Okay, next I'm going to talk about Michael Bloomberg himself, way down here at the bottom. But guess what? Bloomberg, if you don't know, multi-billionaire, he's spending hundreds of millions of dollars to put his face like everywhere. Okay, his ads are like all over the TVs in Iowa and in these other states, New Hampshire, South Carolina. I don't know if he's doing anything in Nevada. He's not on there. But anyways, so he's spending all this money. But, I'm a digital marketer. And what you don't know about me is that I know a thing or 3 or 5 maybe about digital marketing. And what I can tell you is that when you really spend a lot of money marketing yourself or marketing a product, you get something called ad fatigue. Ad fatigue is when you start marketing something so hardcore, people start basically hating it just naturally. It's just it's everywhere, and thus people don't want to see it anymore. And they get basically tired of it. So I think Michael Bloomberg is actually shooting himself in the foot right now, especially because he's not even participating in any of these fucking, good hardcore debates that we need to be having, because people actually want to know what these candidates have to say. And his little sound bites and his little ads, they're stupid. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, okay? And they're getting tired of it. So he's not going to be in a single debate until March. That's what I heard today. I heard that today. So he won't be in a real, Democratic primary debate till March, but he's going to do them eventually. And I think he's going to have a boost in the polls. Biden's going to come down. Sanders, Warren, and Bloomberg are going to be the new winners. And then Biden is slowly going to get phased out. I think that's what's going to happen, quite frankly. That is the truth. In other cool news, by the way, if you follow cryptocurrencies, we are looking at maybe having a new bull market in the very near future. So I'm going to look at a few of my favorite coins. Just look at these guys. So since, let's say, November, look at these spikes, guys. This is pretty good, but, there's some manipulation in the market. It's a wild west. What can I say? I love it. I would prefer dangerous freedom over safe slavery. Who said that? Thomas Jefferson. Okay, so enough about cryptocurrencies. Check it out. You should follow cryptocurrencies. I'm a huge fan. Okay. So guys, that's basically everything, because you don't have to worry about Klobuchar or Booker or Gabbard, Amy Gabbard or Bennett, Delaney, Patrick. They're all going to drop out in the next 2 months. I almost guarantee that Patrick, Delaney, Bennett, and Amy Gabbard and Booker, they will probably drop out very soon. Klobuchar and Steyer, they're going to stick in because they know that Biden's polls are going to come down probably. So, you know, who knows what's going to happen. But here's my conclusion. My conclusion is this. I think there's going to be a big fight, and it's going to come to a fight between mostly Sanders, Biden, and Bloomberg. But Sanders is still going to win probably because he's got these fucking communists that are so insane and so intense, and they want to fight so hard. And it is going to come down to the very, very evil and corrupt DNC, Democratic National Convention, who will choose the primary candidate. And they will choose them on their own. And it is not up to your fucking votes because we do not live in a real democracy. And we know that. I know that from the very first video I ever made on this channel, which you can go look. My very first video is about how Bernie Sanders was up against Hillary Clinton here in California. And we knew from the polls that Bernie Sanders won California by a big margin, right? And then all of a sudden, Hillary won, right? And we all knew it was bullshit. And I looked at all these many videos and looked at polls and all this shit. And basically just for myself, more than anyone else, I definitively proved that Bernie won almost by a landslide in California. And yet the DNC chose Hillary over Bernie, and they're like, you know, the Clintons, we owe them a lot. They're very, very easily manipulatable puppets, and we like to have the puppets, you know. So she won, and she failed against Trump, as all of these other candidates will do as well. So Trump is going to win, guys. Woot woot. But it's going to require some fucking work. So if you want to help him, here is my advice to you. I made a video not too long ago called Double Down on 2020 or something like that. And basically, the point is this. Please commit $120 to your favorite content makers on whether it's, you know, any platform that lets you pay people, basically. Like, I personally am only on Patreon. Most of these other people are jumping over to Subscribestar, I think it's called. It sounds like a porn network if you ask me. Subscribestar, I think that sounds, you know, sukupliats, you know. Anyway, so it sounds like something I don't want to get involved with, but maybe it's good, I don't know. But find your favorite content makers, people. Maybe me, okay? I will put down in my notes after this video is, you know, re-uploaded, and I changed the details below. I will tell you how to support me, but I really don't care if you support me. This is a passion project at this point. Basically, $120 over the next election year, so up until November, to your favorite content makers, because, you know, quite frankly, Fox News and all these other mainstream media networks, they're telling a whole bunch of propaganda, bullshit, lies, and you can trust them. You cannot trust them, not one bit, not one bit. So support good people that make good content, and you know, it might help change minds. It might help get the youth vote out. You know, we need youth voters to really think about this rationally, and we really need people to understand that, guess what? Donald Trump has like the best track record of any president in fucking US history, and the mainstream fucking deep state bullshit, they are telling you fucking lies. They're still saying they've been calling him a racist so long that they've given up using that word for the most part, because it's so overused that they're like, it's not working anymore, we need to think of something else. So now they're calling him a white nationalist. Such bullshit. It's such bullshit. It's insane. Yes, he's a nationalist. If your president, I don't care what country you are on this fucking planet, if your president is not a fucking nationalist, then he's a fucking traitor. Kick him out of office. Kill him. I don't care. Do what you fucking want. But hey, your fucking president has got to be the most nationalist person in your fucking country. Otherwise, he's selling you fucking out. to fucking China, Saudi Arabia, maybe even the Russia, Russian Federation, whatever you. Okay, all right, guys. I think tonight was fun. Tell me if you like talking to SLEVNAV. SLEVNAV is fun. He likes his Moscow Mule juice. And that's it for tonight, guys. Go Trump. Make America great again. Thanks for watching. And have a good night. Signing out.